Wow, it looks like a rugged and highly functional tool watch. That's what a lot of you gentlemen said about the Promaster Land U822. And I finally got my hands on it. I had to wait for it to go on sale. And I am determined to find out if it is as rugged as it looks and as highly functional as it seems to be. And, you know, the results may surprise you, okay? That's all I'm going to say, because look at all this knurling. There's knurling around the edges here. There's knurling around these button shrouds. And there's like this gear pattern on this crown. So guess what? You have 4 items along the perimeter. Only one is a true crown, okay? Right here, this crown rotates the inner bezel ring, which is a compass. But there's no actual compass. You have to use this compass the Boy Scout way, using the shadow of the sun or whatever to get your bearing another way. There's no compass in here. There's no automatic time setting inside this watch module, which is a shame because there's a number of Citizen watches that do have a time sync with, you know, the multi-band 6. They don't call it multi-band 6, they call it atomic time. Same idea. This watch does not have it. This watch does not have a Bluetooth or GPS. You have to set the time manually, okay? So I just want to let everybody know that, because a lot of guys were interested in that fact, because Citizen does have those time sync watches. The Promaster Land U822 is not one of them, okay? And it doesn't have a compass, like a real compass. But there are Citizen watches that do have a compass. The Altachron does. Now let's talk about this, what looks like a crown, okay? Look at me turning it. Is it a screw down crown? No. Okay, is it just like a regular crown? No. All right, well, what is it? It is a button. It is a button. Do you know what happens when you turn this? I'll give you a clue. Do you guys remember that game show on UHF called Wheel of Fish? Well, there was a woman who, you know, scored a fish on Wheel of Fish, and they took out a box, and they're like, do you want the fish, or do you want what's in the box, okay? What was in the box is exactly what this button does when you turn it. Absolutely nothing. All right? It's just a button. And how about these knurled button shrouds? Do these protect the buttons? Nope. It's just decoration. All right, but I am doing tough tests on this watch. I already did one last night. You guys saw. Look at all these scratches. Look in the metal. There's scratches here. Look at the bezel. See the scratch? There's scratches. All right, but look at that glass. No scratches on the glass because this glass is sapphire. My first sapphire watch, and I was really impressed because I really did scratch it up. I was turning a wrench, and there was this metal bracket that was holding up a water hose, you know, coolant. And, you know, I was just turning that ratchet and scraping up the watch. No scratches on the sapphire glass. So stay tuned for more tough tests. We will determine in a future episode exactly how rugged this watch actually is. But in terms of functionality, I'll give you a rundown so you can get an idea of what the watch does. I've already explained to you 2 things that it does not do. It does not sync time, and it does not have an actual compass, okay? So let's go over the physical features of the watch, beginning with the, you know, as analog hands, and it has a subdial that is the MIP screen, okay, which can show you different information in high resolution, high contrast, extremely good angle of viewing, really beautiful. I like that MIP screen. It's a huge step above regular LCD screens. Happy to see it. There are some drawbacks, as we'll go over, and this is inherent to the MIP screen itself, okay? And we have the analog hands, like I said. Now, there's 2 other analog subdials. The subdial on the right, near the 3-hour, well, it's actually on the 4-hour position. This is a function. It shows you the main functions of the watch. And then this other subdial shows you the power level when you're on the main time screen, okay? Now, just to let you guys know about the power level, right now it's at high, all right? So that will give you about a year of power reserve. When the dial points at the middle position, like the second segment down, it's 4 to 10 months. And then when it points at the yellow, you're below 3 months, and when it gets to the end, you're in big trouble, mister, okay? You're going to have like double ticks on the second hand, I believe, but your days of running out of power, okay? And all this needs to power itself is sunlight, okay? It can use artificial light too. Sunlight's the best, and there is a meter that will tell you how much sun you're getting. It has a luminosity display in the settings, and I'll show you how to get there. But for normal usage, when you wear it, you'll give it plenty of light, whether natural light or incandescent fluorescent light. The solar charging will power up this watch, and like I said, at full power, 1 year of battery reserve. Okay, so let's go through the functions. Now, to go through the functions, you have to press this middle button that looks like a dial, not a dial. It's a button. Okay, so follow along right here. Okay. The next function, well, to press this button, you enter into the menu, okay? In the LCD, the MIP screen inverts. So that's what an inverted LCD screen looks like. And then these other two buttons, above and below the middle button, will scroll through the functions one way or the other. And to enter into that function, you press the middle button again, or you wait 3 seconds. It will automatically exit the menu and enter into the function that you have selected. Okay, so this is the chronograph. All right, and you see how I didn't press the button, but after a few seconds elapsed, it just entered into the chronograph mode. And at the top there, it's kind of in the shadow, but the MIP screen with its high resolution says chronograph. It's a stopwatch. All right. It's Greek. Chrono means time. Graph means I write. It's writing the time, that's elapsed. It's a stopwatch, okay? So going back to the menu cycle, we have a timer, which is a countdown timer, okay? And you can set this up to 99 minutes and 59 seconds, right? Alarm, you have 2 alarms. And we have a whole menu screen. You can go through these menu items. And so the main time is called calendar. See how it says at the top left, calendar? All right, well, the date is set here, right? October 26th, it's a Saturday. Well, if I press this top button, I can make it display something else, right? The digital readout of the time together with the date and the day of the week in smaller letters. Or I can show this that includes that information, the full date, month, day, and year, the time, the day of the week, and the time zone that this watch is set to. And that's the main time. So I am in Texas, and just about all Texas is in the central time zone. And the main city of that time zone is Chicago. Historically, it's the main city, but we all know that Dallas and Houston and the cities of Texas have far more importance nowadays. We should just call this Texas time. But anyways, those are the 4 different items that can be displayed in the main time. Okay? Now, if you want to set the time, if you hold down this middle button, you enter into the settings. So you can go through and look at the MIP screen. You can turn on or off daylight savings time. Daylight savings time is on. You can, hack it to get the seconds lined up to synchronize, to the world time. And, you can use your phone or another watch for reference. Minutes, hours, year, month, day of the month. Now, some Europeans are wondering if you can reverse that order to have day, then the month. And the answer is yes. You can do that in the settings. And when I get to the settings function, I will show you. Now the next function after the calendar is the world time, and we will go there. So I have world time set to display New York time, where my brother is living, okay? And it's the same thing. This top right button will be able to cycle through the same type of settings. Now you see how you have my time zone and my brother's. Now, if you wanted to have the analog hands, if you wanted to switch these, that the analog hands would display your secondary time zone, all right, if you're traveling, is you hold these two buttons and it will swap. All right, so now the hands are displaying the time in the Eastern time zone, all right? But I'm never going there, so let me just switch it back. Bing, bang, boom. There you go. Simple as. All right, so obviously it doesn't have a GPS. It cannot automatically change your time zone, which for me is a good thing, because you've heard in my previous rant videos, I hate it when my time devices automatically switch my time. You know, there's some watches like these G-Shocks that'll do that. Once it figures out that you're in a different time zone, it will switch the time zone on you and not let you know, and it causes a lot of confusion. Don't like that. So in the main time zone, you also have so there's 4 screens. You can show the digital readout of that time zone. Now, what if you quickly wanted to change what time zone is being displayed? Is that possible? And the answer is yes. Hold down the B button, and you can run through the whole world, okay? Going east or west. And if you wanted to quickly go through the whole world, hold down the button, and you will fly across the time zones. And once you have a time zone you want, like, Yangon, right? You guys know, those of you who play Risk know Yangon. It's a very tough area of the Risk board game to capture and to keep captured. You know, those land wars in Asia, very difficult. But anyways, we have this time, you can set it, all right? So now my secondary time zone is Yangon. Shout out to everybody who watches the Jim Kincaid YouTube channel from Yangon. Love to hear you guys in the comments. All right, and so the next feature we want to look at is the chronograph, all right? So bing, bang, boom, here we are in the chronograph. Now this is where it starts to get interesting. You remember my gripe about the stopwatches on the Casio MIP G-Shocks. So these G-Shocks have the MIP screen. When you go to the stopwatch, they don't display the fractions of a second, right? Because the MIP screen itself cannot do that, all right? So if you start the stopwatch, it's displaying the seconds, all right, but no fractions of a second. So if you were a coach timing a 40-yard dash, everybody's 40-yard dash time would be 5 or 6 seconds, right? Maybe 4 if you have a speed demon on the team, right? And so it's kind of crazy. But this watch does do exactly what I said in response to this, which is that the watch should still calculate the fractions of a second and display them when you stop it. Okay, that does it. So let me start the stopwatch so you guys can see. It says running on the MIP screen. The MIP screen displays nothing in terms of the elapsed time, but it's calculating it all. So when you stop it, bing, bang, boom, it showed you the seconds and the fractions of a second. Let me reset it. And did you notice what happened? Did you see how the seconds hand went back to the 12 o'clock position? That is because the analog display will tell you the time of the stopwatch, chronograph. The seconds hand displays the seconds of the chronograph. The right subdial displays the minutes elapsed, and this left subdial displays the hours elapsed. So you can run the stopwatch for up to 40 hours, okay? And maybe I should do a video where we do that, right? That would be like, that would go viral. I think that a lot of people would love to watch a 40-hour video about the chronograph on the Promaster Land U822. So stay tuned for that fun and exciting video. May have to buy a new memory card before I record it, but do you see? We'll show you how the minute goes by. This after the second hand sweeps past the 12 o'clock position, the minute hand will move forward 1. Now, what if you wanted a digital readout while it's running? Do you have to stop it? And the answer is no. You can get a split time by pressing this button. So the bottom button will show you the split time. So if at any instance you wanted to know how much time has gone by, press that button. And it keeps a list of 999 of the split times. All right, look at that minute hand. Boom. It moved forward 1. So 1 minute has gone by. To confirm that, I'll just take that split. 1 minute and 5 seconds. Okay? And like I said, 999 splits. And you can change it to be from a split to a lap if you wanted to keep track of lap time. All right? Now, if you stop the stopwatch, the chronograph, excuse me, and you wanted to view all of the split times or lap times that you recorded, hold down the middle button, and surprise, there it is. And you can scroll through. All right? Exit. Now, I'll show you something cool. In the settings, you can actually get that information onto your phone without Bluetooth using a QR code. And that is in the settings. So we'll get to that. And in the settings, you can change the designation of this button to be lap or split time. And what the difference is, that's a good question. Ha ha ha. Okay, moving on to the next function, the countdown timer. The countdown timer, you set it, let me go into it, you set it, hold down this middle button. It's not a crown, it's a button. And look, you can advance through the digits. You go by the digits. So that right there has, you know, the MIP of the Casio's beat, because on these MIP Casios, it's the whole integer. But the Promaster Land allows you to set the digits. So here's the tens spot of the minutes. We're going up to 99 minutes and 59 seconds. And the setting is complete. And let's start the stopwatch. And there it goes. It says running. And that bar right there is a progress bar. Okay, so let me stop it and set it again just to prove to you so that you can hear it. All right, and you can speed through the buttons. You don't have to press the button each time, which is also an improvement over the G-Shock set buttons on their MIP watches. We'll just go for 1 minute. I know how much of a short attention span all of you gentlemen have. So let's start this stopwatch. Oh, I set it for 1 second. So I hope that you saw that bar go elapse really quickly. Let me set it again. You know what? Let me set it again. You guys want to see the magic of a progress bar. So I set it for 1 second, and that was not enough. Let's set it for 10, because you guys love suspense, but only 10 seconds of suspense. All right, ready? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Let me get the microphone ready so you guys can hear this. All right, sorry if I blew up your eardrums, oops, by doing that, but I thought that you guys might want to, you know, hear the beepage. Well, there you go, that was a beepage. Alrighty, next function. Oh, I set it by accident. Let me exit. Setting complete. Alright, each watch, a lot of these have like different paradigms on how to navigate. Alright. Single press to enter the menu. Now we're at alarms. Now you have 2 alarms. All right, you want to hear the first alarm? You hold this button. This is a preview. Ready? It's alarm 1. Sorry, this is alarm 1. The other one is alarm 2. Okay, you only have 2 alarms. Those 2 different alarms. It reminds me of like when you're at a refinery. Each refinery has like a different like alarm system. Like some of them will be like wailing tone means evacuate immediately, and some of them will be like short bursts means stop, drop, and roll, and it's really confusing. So if you forget which alarm makes which sound, you can preview that sound as I just showed you. See, it says right on the MIP screen, demonstration. Okay, now to set this, of course, hold down the set button, and you can set these alarms for different time zones. You know, if you have a friend in you know, like London, all right, and you wanted to know what time it is at, you know, 7 a.m. in London, that's part of the setting. So we're going to turn this alarm on. All right, like I said, so many Jim Kincaid viewers in London. I want to know what time you guys wake up, and I know all of you wake up right at 7, brewing the tea, getting the tea going, right? And so you can set different days of the week too, and it's not just like weekdays or weekends. You can go through each day of the week. I'm going to let you guys sleep in on Sunday and Monday, but Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, I'm waking up at 7 a.m. London time to make you guys a video, so your phone will be dinging with notifications that a Jim Kincaid video has dropped, and you guys better wake up, you better watch it, okay? So there you go, setting complete. All right, I'll be listening for alarm 1, and just again, this is what it's going to sound like. Hold on. That's what I'm going to hear before I make a video and put it up, and you guys get that bell notification. All right. So 2 different alarms, different time zones, different days of the week. Next is all of these settings, all right? So you navigate up and down with the up and down buttons, all right? Light level. This is what I was telling you about. You have a graph, okay? So like right now we're at level 4 and 5 with just this little LED light, okay? So, you know, if I were to go outside, you know, it would probably record more. You could see I've not been wearing this watch that much. It's been in the chest. Last night I was using it. Well, I was working on a truck engine, a 5.4 liter Ford engine, right? The alternator went, so I was reaching into the engine to fix the alternator, all right? And that was at night, so it didn't really get much light. And I've been actually wearing the Mudmaster to work. Where is it? Or the Mudman, excuse me. The Mudman. All right. But then I realized I have to transition back to the Promaster Land U822 because it's time to initiate the tough tests. So the first tough test was last night. So it shows you a graph of all of the sunlight. All right. And then there it goes by the day. How about that? That's pretty cool. I wish that my G-Shock watches did that. Home time. So this is where you can set the time here in addition to from the calendar function. All right. World time. Same thing. All right. Remember all you guys in Yukon, I know exactly what time it is over there. Yangon, excuse me. Shout out to all y'all. Really huge contingent of the Yangonians. Alright, now here's the chrono result. Now remember I hit the button, this split/lap button a bunch of times. That information was recorded. So there's a way that you can see it. And this is how you set the timer. You can set the timer from the timer or the menu. Alarm, same thing. Set the time from the time, excuse me, set the alarm from the alarm or the settings. Hand position. All right. If you bang up your watch, and I've been known to do that, like you guys remember when I threw this into the washing machine and dryer a couple different times and the hands were way out of whack, right? I had to readjust the hands. Well, you can do that too. So what happens if the hands are out of alignment? It thinks it's pointing at the right time because the little capstans there are where they're supposed to be, but the hands are not. So use this hand position to set that. Chrono mode, as we discussed, you can change from lap or split time. In the day language, all right. So here are the languages. English, hello. Japanese, arigato. Spanish, hola. German, guten Tag. French, bonjour. Italian, capiche. Portuguese. I know Portuguese, you just take the English word and add itas to the end. So like, watch in Portuguese is watchitas. You know, couch in Portuguese is couchitas. Hello in Portuguese is helloitas. And then Chinese, ni hao. Those are the languages. Select city. So, all right, you can toggle on and off what cities, I think there's 29 of them, are displayed in, you know, in your world time function. So if you could narrow down, you know, the whole 29 time zones to just a few, you know, you can make it easier when going through them. If, for example, you know, we already went over all the Yangons. Well, if you like wanted to know Yangon in Kabul, but Delhi, sorry, boom, Delhi's off the list. I'm going to put you guys in Delhi back on. We love Delhi, right? All right, so how do I get out of here? How do I get out of here? Guys, I'm stuck in this menu. How do I get out? Oh, go to exit. All right. All right, so this is if you wanted to make your own time zone. For example, you're one of those crazy counties that are defiant against the time zone all around them. And the farmers of that county united and refused to do daylight savings time, or it's not like on the hour, you're like half an hour difference because in your some island, you know, middle of nowhere, right? That you can set your own time zone here. I'm not going to. That would confuse me. Hour. You can do 12-hour or 24-hour, also known as military time. Date order. All right. Everybody in Europe is paying attention now because you can have your beloved day / month / year. All right. But I'm American. For some reason, we have month, day, year. And that's what I'm sticking with. All right, web user guide. This is a QR code, right? And so you hit that QR code and you can look at caliber U822 web user guide. All right? And you have information, same thing, and then you can reset the settings, all right? Now where's that QR code for the chronograph? I know it's somewhere. It's like there's a QR code that shows you the chronograph results, right? And I tried it. I know it's there because I tried it, right? But the thing is, like when you use your iPhone to look at it, it thinks it's a website. And I don't know, guys. There was a way. I don't know it now. Maybe one of you gentlemen can chime in the comments because I know I did it. Because like I said, my iPhone camera recognized the QR code, but also thought it was a website. So it searched the web for a string of numbers that obviously didn't exist. All right? But if you bear with me, maybe we'll just go to the chronograph and see if it's accessible through the chronograph. Maybe by holding down this button. Maybe by holding down this button. Nope. Maybe by pressing both of these at the same time. Nope. Alright, stay tuned for a further video where I will find that information out for you guys. Alright, so both the chronograph and the timer can run in the background, and you can go back to the calendar and show the main time as those are running in the background. All right. Now, if you set the time, or there's certain settings that if you change while the timer's running, it will stop the timer. Okay. So those are the functions. And if you guys have any questions, let me know. I'm sure that I'll press stop and then remember things that I forgot to say, but I think that, I got everything down in terms of the functions, right? Now, for those of you saying that this is like a tool watch, it has all these functions, like the functions aren't that exceptional, right? But it's a really beautiful watch. It's amazing how good it looks. Like I was wearing it the other day here at the man camp, and Jeff saw me wearing it, and Jeff was like, "Whoa, is that a Rolex?" I'm like, "No, sir, it's a Citizen." And he's like, "Wow, what time is it? 10,000?" You know, in reference to it looking really rich, and it does look rich. Okay, it looks really expensive. Retail price of this one is $700, but I have seen it for a lot less on sale, and I believe there's a sale now, and I'm going to try and get a link for it, which I'll put below. Okay, I say try. Hopefully I'll be able to get a link, but if I can get a link, I'll share it with you, and I'll say wait for it to go on sale. Okay, don't. My recommendation. I mean, if you want to pay full retail, it's fine, but like a lot of these stores will have like 35% off, right? And so you can get this for, $400 and change, which is a much better price. And I think it's a fairer price for this watch. The full retail, in my opinion, is a lot, but I mean, this is just my recommendation. Obviously, all you guys have different budgets, right? And so it's metal. It's not too heavy, right? And as far as the toughness, we'll test it out. To this point, like the little pins in here are making noise. Let me put my microphone here so you guys might be able to hear. That happened like soon after the unboxing. May have happened during the unboxing. You know how chaotic my unboxings are. But yeah, the pins, and if you look at them, the pins, like I don't know if they're long for this world, right? But we won't hold back. When I was working on the Ford last night, I was like, oh, I should take this watch off. And then I was like, wait, what am I thinking? I don't hold back. I don't hold back from my watches. The watch stays. So I had to reach between the engine and the fan shroud to, take the belt off the alternator and all that jazz. And that's, there's like not a lot of room. Look at all the scratches you get on my wrist, Oh, speaking of that, in terms of toughness, the fan shroud did tear up this band, So, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't imagine something like that happening to this band. This is the Mudman GW9500 by G-Shock. But the band's kind of rubbery. It's like pretty comfortable, right? And the watch, it has some weight to it, but I wouldn't call it heavy at all. I mean, it's not like one of those monster steel watches. And it does feel like this Sapphire is pretty beefy. And this is my first Sapphire watch, so I'm really impressed with how scratch resistant it is. But in terms of durability, we have to run the tests. Okay, so you guys have to stay tuned. And I believe that Philip Lahell said he picked up one of these, and he remarked about how like the edges of the sapphire glass are exposed. And I don't know what factor that would have in its durability, but it does make like an angle of refraction, so you can kind of see that it catches the light really nice, and it catches the sun and makes a ring of brilliance. And so maybe it's strategic that they have that beveled edge to the sapphire exposed as they did. And one other thing that you guys might want to know, and this is probably pretty important, probably should have talked about it earlier, but the loom on this, when it's all fired up, by the way, this is my Lenleser W1R. When the loom is fired up, like this watch, everything's loomed, even the logo, right? Philip Lahell was saying that he thinks it's the only Citizen that does that, or that it's not common for the Citizen watches to like loom everything, but everything is loomed with 2 different colors of loom. Okay, and so the green loom, of the little details does not last that long, but the main loom, like on the indices, does last. You know, if I charge it up before I go to bed, like I'll just sit here with my Lenleser W1R, give it a good charging, and anytime I roll over at night and look at my watch, I can read the time. All right, and I'm not really like, you know, I'm coming from Casio watches, which have notoriously bad loom. All right, now the light. A lot of you guys are going to want to know about the light. One LED light, and it is on the MIP screen. It is amber, and I'm going to be honest, it's pathetic. It's like, let me tell you what it reminds me of. It reminds me of just like a regular Casio amber light, right? See, this is the WSB1000. It's a step counting watch. Just a regular Casio. You know, the old amber lights on the regular El Cheapo Casios. Well, this fantastic MIP screen has just a, you know, I use the word pathetic. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should say, you know, incredibly disappointing. I don't know. Subpar. Is there any softer way to not hurt watch's feelings and talk about this LED light not being like great? But it's there, okay? So you press the button, the MIP screen has illumination, but the loom on the indices and hands I think is great. I like it. I like how long lasting it is, and like I said, when you really get it going, it's like, you know, there's going to be planes flying overhead thinking that that's the runway, so you might have planes like crashing into you for the brief time that it is like lit up like a Christmas tree, as the Big E says over there at Watch Once Over, right? And yeah, there's loom even on the subdial with the compass rose. Let me show you again for those of you who don't believe me. See? So, there's no LED light that will shine on the face of the watch like I'm used to on the Casio G-Shocks, right? They have the GA series has a double LED, an LED for the LCD screen and an LED for the analog hands, but pathetic loom, versus fantastic loom, pathetic LED. But I mean, like, when you press this button, like what additional information will the MIP screen be showing you? Just like the date of the day of the week, right? Maybe secondary time zone or whatever. But you know, if you want to just see the time, you have the loom. The loom's pretty good. It's my opinion. So, if any of you gentlemen have a question about the functionality of a watch, any corrections, which are rare, right? Extremely rare. When have I ever like given like incorrect or incomplete information on a YouTube video? I dare you to even think of one single instance where I've ever been correctly corrected in the comments, right? Pro tip, you can't, right? But this is the rundown, okay? And stay tuned for the tough test. Gentlemen, Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father except through him. I'm Jim Kincaid. Thanks for watching.